Hey, it's Marks Washington here at Cap 1 Georgetown with a 100-68 win over Albany. The usual guys led the Warriors today. Sorber 14 points, 11 rebounds. Michael Peavy touched a little bit of everything. 24 points, 8 assists, 4 steals, and I'm going to give him a break, even though Coach Cooley made sure that he mentioned that PV had 3 turnovers. We're not going to talk about the 3 turnovers. He was so big today. Malik Mack looked more comfortable and looked more in rhythm today. Didn't look like he forced as much. Not only did he have the 16 points, but he had it on 6 of 8 shooting. And that was kind of a theme for Georgetown. In the first half, they shot 61.8% from the floor. And the second half, when they were truly able to speed the game up, primarily based on some of their defenses and forcing missed shots, they shot 64.5% from the field. So for the game, they shot 63.1%. I think one of the more important statistics was they only attempted 22 3-pointers. So out of the 65 shot attempts they had, only 22 were 3-pointers, and they made 9 of those. And Georgetown is going to be one of those teams. I said the same thing about UVA yesterday. You can't look at the number of threes sometimes as much as the quality of the threes. And with the type of shooters that they have on this team, you don't want to start straying over 25 because you don't have those type of shooters. Now, you can say in Virginia's case, and this is not a Virginia post game, that they have a couple guys, if they get hot, you can push it over 25, a Rhodey or McNeely or something like that. But for the most part, this is where Georgetown and UVA are the same. I don't think that once you start getting over that 25, you're wondering about the quality. You're wondering if the ball is touching the paint in Georgetown's case. Is it touching Sorber? And where the number can get to 22, 25 is if the ball is working inside out. If you're working inside out and Mack is getting the looks that he got today and the time that he got when he got the ball because of how the floor was spaced, that's a little bit different. But, them just coming down and shooting threes in transition or one pass and 3 or stuff like that, that's just not the type of team Georgetown is. There are other teams that can play that way. Georgetown can. So for the most part, that 9 for 22 for almost 41%, I thought was golden for this team. Because then you get 10 points from Drew Fielder, right? You get out and you run, and so you get another 11-point performance from Jordan Burks. 11 points in 19 minutes, almost 20 minutes. And this is a guy that lives off of finishing on the break. That's where you get the most effective Jordan Burks. Good defense down here. Rebound, push, run, and then have him run. Because what he'll do is, once he gets 1 dunk, 2 dunks, now he'll sprint the floor all the time. Because you've given him the ball, he'll sprint all the time. Now you got something going. If you ignore him or you miss him or something like that, or you're not sprinting and you're not pushing up and you're not looking up, then you kind of lose him. And then you lose the things that he does well. But when you're sprinting and you're looking up and you're doing all those things, then you get a performance out of Burks like you got today. And it's frankly, for this team, it's needed. They need to get as many easy baskets as possible, and they don't mind playing fast as long as the guards are playing fast and under control. As long as the guards are playing fast and they're good decision makers. As long as the guards are playing fast and they're looking up at opportunities for others. Georgetown does that, and then you're not going to get 100 points, but you'll get enough points to win games. So other things that jumped out to me, yes, Georgetown did have the 15 turnovers. Some of them were just self-inflicted, something that in the short turnaround with the game Monday against UMBC at 6:30, they're going to have to kind of shore up and kind of get guys back in tune with taking care of the ball. It didn't hurt them today. And what hurt them earlier today was, in the first half, the fouling. And that is the one pet peeve. I don't understand why this team wants to have guys out on the perimeter thinking that they're shot blockers. I don't know why this team have guys who are closing out past the shooter, and then wondering why fouls being called on 3-pointers, because it looks like you're finishing pass going through the guy, or you're trying to block it and you foul him after the ball was released. And now those things do have to stop. That's just undisciplined basketball. And that's why Albany shot 18 free throws in the first half. There were 18 for 18 in the first half. Now think about this. Albany in the first half only scored 35 points. 18 came from the free throw line. That's over 50% of their points came from just making free throws. You can't make that game that easy if that's Xavier. You can't make the game that easy if that's UConn. You can't make that game that easy as well as DePaul's playing. You can't make the game that easy if it's DePaul. And a lot of this was just undisciplined crap. Again, like I said, why are you trying to block threes? You know, it's something that you feel like you're saying to a middle school player. Hey guys, just go and close out strong and contest, but I don't want you want you trying to block threes. And so we certainly shouldn't be saying it in this arena, on this level. So those are the type of disciplinary things that Georgetown needs to clean up. But for the most part, this was a great game for the Hornets. It's kind of a game that you need. You got to play the walk-ons late. Drew McKenna played 352. He's not a walk-on, but he played 352. Austin Montgomery played 203. Hashim Asadallah played 126, and even Michael Van Raphorst got in for 47 seconds. So when you have that, PV and Epps were the only two who played at the 30-minute mark. Everyone, and Sorber, he played 32 minutes, my bad. Everyone else was kind of under that 20-minute mark, especially with that quick turnaround. UMBC is going to try to push pace too. So we're going to see that with that every other day thing. If they can play two teams that are primarily going to push pace and play it effectively and efficiently, you might say, well, look at the level of competition. Doesn't matter. You might say, well, do you think Georgetown's going to be a tournament team? Because that's the time when you're going to play every other day. That doesn't matter either. You're building something here, and by building something, you want to see these incremental steps. So Monday, don't look at the opponent, look at the opportunity. The opportunity for them to get better, because Georgetown still needs to incrementally get better before the Big East season starts. The Big East might not have the dominant teams, but I think the floor of the Big East has rose just a bit. You know, they might have come down a little bit here, because we know UConn isn't the same as they had when they had Kling and stuff like that. Still very good. It's not the same. Marquette looks good. Xavier is the oldest team in the country. So you have those things, but you're on paper right now. DePaul looks like they're rising. Butler looks like they come in rising. That floor has risen. So incremental progress for Georgetown is key. Okay. So again, I'm going to see you on Monday back here. UMBC again. Georgetown 100, Albany 68.